Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm back at the crib again, and I'm here to show y'all the long-awaited, in my case, the awaited after some 14, 15 years or so, Gen 2 Legacy Arms, if you will, Teutonic Crusader sword. I remember several videos ago, I made a video concerning such a sword. I think it was my dark sword armory presentation of the Black Prince sword that I told y'all that that the day would come, just like I promised y'all the day would come that I'd get that Shiva knife, that the day would come that I would finally get one of these mofos. And by the luck of, and I dare say the grace of eBay, if you will, or we really should say the grace of God, seeing that this is a Christian sword and all. And after 15 years, I've been chasing this thing, pretty much gave up on it. And here we are. Finally got one after all these years. Finally got one. Well, did I not say that I'm a man of my word? Well, like I did in the last video when I presented y'all the Shiva knife. Well, once again, I'm here to tell y'all I'm a man of my word. So I'm gonna unsheath it so we can have a gander at it. And I'm here to let y'all know that my room is looking a little fucked up, but it's way less. I cleaned it up about a week ago, so it's way less fucked up looking than it was back then. So I'm actually proud. So if y'all look at my DVDs and whatnot, like shit like this and whatnot, hey, feel free to talk shit, because like all this right here, bro, it was trash all over the place. Now, it looks like a typical nigga spot. You got my PS3, my, like I said, a typical nerd spot. So y'all give me a minute. So, by all means, feel free to criticize my cleaning skills, because like I said, it was looking way more fucked up than it is now. I mean, the fact that this is the first time I'm even willing to show the interior of my room, because normally I have something like this out in the commons, but it's a whole lot going on right now, so I'd rather just do it in the privacy of my room. Show y'all what we got working with. Okay, so matter of fact, let me see if y'all can see that. So that's what it looks like unsheathed. There aren't too many, and that's another thing that I don't like. For years, there have been little to practically no reviews on this sword for whatever reason. In fact, I just saw this website that I never buy shit from, because they just funny style and how they conduct business, called Medieval Collectibles, and I've known of them for a long time. I just don't fuck with them like that. There was some woman who worked there who presented the sword and kind of sort of described it. So, and that was like, apparently that video is like 7 years old or so. I'm like, okay. And then there was some dude who had bought it. He clanged it up against this he was trying. I don't know if he was trying to test the strength or the durability, because he kind of torture tested it. Yeah, he torture tested it against like a breastplate of some knight armor, and he cut some chainmail with it to improve its durability. Now, I've cut a box with it, But needless to say, one thing I don't like doing is doing too many torture tests. What I might do in the future, if I get the agency to do so, and I don't see why I wouldn't. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. Is especially now that I'm in my new home of Colorado now. Or I guess you can say new compared to where I'm from, and y'all know where I'm from. But yeah, man, I just might get a cutting board, get some tatami mats, and soak them in the traditional way, and yeah, show what these blades can do. This what the fuck? I don't know if y'all heard that, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Even at this late age, it's almost midnight. Still got folks for doing too much in this goofy ass group home. Like to think a nigga moved up into a homeless shelter or some shit. But anyway, these goofy ass, bro. I'm telling, bro, these Coloradans be doing the most, bro. And that's the takeaway. It's like out here, I get to make the money that I could have never have dreamt of making, and thus, buying the weapons that I could only dream of buying in a place like Tennessee. But out here, I get to do that, but it's like at the expense of a bunch of junky ass dusty fuck niggas running all up and down Colorado. Even mind you, even in the state capital, the fucking capital of Colorado, Denver. But anyway, but yeah, man. In the future, I just might, let's say, get a cutting board, get some tatami mats, and show y'all what these blades can do. Because I know firsthand what these blades can do. I'll tell you firsthand that this blade right here, this Crusader sword, as well as everything in the background, like I got two ramdowels that you're looking at, which I have introduced, but the last ramdowel video that I did, it turned out to be shit for whatever reason, and I was kind of criticizing it. I mean, I hate to get off subject, but I was kind of criticizing it, and but turns out the sharpest part of this thing is actually in the middle, because it does cut fairly well. I was cutting it on the outside for some odd reason. It's not, I'm not gonna say it's dull on the outer region or the farthest region, but it's not as sharp as the middle region for whatever reason. I guess that comes in handy when it comes to fulfilling its original purpose, which is, like I said, cleaving off heads of very large animals like goats and sheep and cows and shit, like oxen. But anyway, get off that tangent. Back to this Crusader sword. It is razor sharp, as it should be, and it kind of takes me back to when I did get a Gen 2 sword, but it was a Templar sword. And it was, I don't even remember the name of this place anymore, and I've tried to think about it, but maybe that's a good thing, so I don't fuck with them anymore. Because I've gotten a couple of, Asian weapons, like katanas from them before. But I remember it being this female that I was on the phone with trying to discuss, because, I had sent them too much money. And like I said, they just happened to be headquartered somewhere in Tennessee, like, around the Nashville area. And I remember basically me telling her to send me what they got, as far as because they didn't have this. And I've always been adamant about getting a Crusader sword with a black cross. So much so, as y'all gonna find out, guess what I did? I bought two more of Crusader swords. I bought one of the same replica as this, and I bought a Brookhart rendition. So those are in transit now as we speak. I just bought those yesterday. It cost me it ran me a good $540. Pretty much. Like I said, that's the kind of agency Colorado provides me now. Like I said, even at the expense of dealing with goofies around here and probably my mental health and whatnot. Because they're mentally imbalanced because these motherfuckers don't know what planet they're on and don't seem to care neither. But anyway, but I stay out of the way and I go out of my way to stay away from them and keep things like this away from them. These motherfuckers will fuck around and be on some mass murder type shit. No one know. Yeah, y'all. And to further throw these motherfuckers under the bus like I normally do, one of these motherfuckers stole one of my sides. I know I'm supposed to be presenting this sword, but I'm just telling y'all, man, even with a sword presentation like this, which I'm very, stoked about, especially, considering the fact that, I got 2 more of these replicas coming my way, one of which is going to be a Brookhart, which is supposed to be a better quality. And it's not to throw shade at this, because it is razor sharp. But back to, let me get off the tangent. I can talk shit about Coloradans all day. Let me try not to do that and just, stay on point. But, so, about 14 years ago, right? About 14 years ago, there was this company whose name I've forgotten, completely forgotten, because like I said, I'd done business with them in the past prior to trying to get this, but I ended up having to settle for its Templar variant, and like I said, I sent them too much money, so they were like, well, we can either refund you the money back, or you can get whatever it is we got. And I was like, do y'all have this? This was what I was looking for 14 years ago. They didn't have it, so I had to settle for a Templar sword. So they gave me that rusty piece of shit, and it was not so much that it was necessarily rusty. It's just the motherfucker wasn't sharp. It wasn't sharp. And I'm here to tell you, this thing is razor sharp. It's razor sharp. And it's a damn shame that all this time, and there's been back in the 2010s, there was all this competition to get these things. The fact that I had to get this thing up out of Pakistan, right? Because its country of origin is actually the Philippines. So, I guess same continent, if nothing else. But the fact that I had to get this thing up out of Pakistan rather than, because you can forget, I'm here to tell y'all, unless you just know, you can forget about getting one of these, unless you look up and, my boy Saeed out of Pakistan, because I got it from this, I said Saeed, but his eBay name is Saad Knives or something like that. And yeah, I had to get it up out of there, and then I got another one because, like I said, I finally got the money and I finally got the access after 14 years, long after, these things were hot. They were apparently they were being sold like hotcakes. I couldn't get to one even if and when I had the money to get them, because they just weren't in stock. And they were selling more than they were manufacturing them. And I can only imagine, how difficult it would have been to get them in, given that they were coming, being shipped out of the Philippines. And as soon as they arrived on American shores, buyers were buying them left and right. Which, again, goes back to my original question. How come there have been so far and few videos being made on the Gen 2 Crusader sword? Much less the Gen 2 Templar sword, which I plan to get a couple of replicas of those. And hopefully they'll be razor sharp, just like this one is. Because the thing about it is, I was just sold a bill of goods. I don't know why this thing was so weak and flimsy. As far as, not weak and flimsy like in steel quality, but I mean, like, I was just using a misnomer to describe the it's really its dullness. You know, I was gonna say sharpness, but really more so the lack thereof, because it wasn't sharp. And if it wasn't as sharp as I needed it to be sharp. Because I like my swords to cut. My swords are real weapons. They're not toys. They're not replicas. And, you know, I hate to be on some sexist shit, but, you know, this is the kind of stuff that usually happens when, you know, I mean, if you know, you know, like, because obviously she didn't care. She couldn't care less. It was, to her, it was just a piece of metal that they were trying to get rid of. And then when I got it, here I was stuck with this thing that, you know, as far as I was concerned, was worthless. And I spent a good $200 on it. No quality, no sharpness, no nothing. Practically, might as well have been, you know, a somewhat semi-sharp, semi-dull practice weapon. So that kind of sums up my story to an extent, as far as, you know, the fact that I've come a long way to acquire this, as well as the swords that are coming after this, because like I said, I got at least 2 on the way, and they have black crosses too on the pommel hilt. And once those get in after the new year, I'll be buying I'll be buying 2 replicas of Gen 2 Templar swords, which again are on eBay. Then I'll be buying 2 replicas of daggers, which will result in a total of 4 daggers, 2 Crusader, 2 Templar. And once those get in, I'll be more than glad to present those as well. But it's an awesome fucking sword, and I don't know if it's because, you know, I've gotten beefier over the years, or because I was so skinny, you know, back in 2011, that this sword is completely, you know, it just feels wieldable, like it's meant to be an actual arming sword. Because for some odd reason, the Templar sword just didn't, like its weight just felt, and its counterbalance just felt off. And like I said, I don't know if that was because I was so skinny at the time. I don't know. But it didn't feel like a fighting sword. It didn't feel like a sword that you take in the battle. This thing you do take in the battle. Because, and I don't know again if it's because, you know, I have a current bench press of 305, and, you know, this thing feels more wieldable. I don't know. But this is definitely wieldable, and it is sharp. And in the future, I look forward to making some cutting videos to, you know, and, you know, in the hopes of doing this sword, you know, a lot more justice than what's been presented. Because, you know, for all the hype that was going on, you know, for this thing being such, you know, the rage that it was back in the 2010s, I haven't seen too many videos, you know, doing this this sword any kind of, you know, duly noted justice, if you will. You know, more so than, you know, what it deserves. Or less, or yeah, should I say less than what it deserves. So I guess once again, it's up to me, weirdos like me, to provide it that kind of justice, just like I did, you know, in the past with these Rambo, with these Ramdao, with these Filipino swords. Y'all know what I do. Y'all know what I do. So that's just, I guess you can say that's a brief introduction. I was gonna do like most folks do and just kind of, you know, wield it around. Let's see, yeah, that's just me doing that with one hand. And yeah, it's, like I said, it's definitely far more maneuverable than that other piece of crap that was given to me um, 14 years ago. And my boy Saeed, or Saad from Pakistan, had enough. You see all that grease glistening off of it? Yeah, he had enough. He had enough common sense too to. He had enough common sense to, lube it up and send it out here. So I ain't even gotta use any of my sword oil or this oil here, this cedar oil. I mean, it need not apply. So yeah, I like. Needless to say, I like this. And for the record, all these DVDs that you hear, if you're wondering if that's, if y'all wondering if that's just porno or whatnot, take a good look. What did I say? Catch Wrestling Fundamentals, Stick Boxing. That's from my boy. What's his name? He runs CSW. I think his name's like Eric Paulson or whatnot. That's what we doing. So if y'all wondering if I'm over here trying to hide my porn stash, I'm like, I got some porn stash, some porn stash for you, some war porn stash for your ass. Cause that's what I do. This is what I do. That right there, got my cold steel knives. This what I do. This what I do, people. So, yeah, be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for those tatami cutting videos because, like I said, man, I probably do just for the sake of the Crusader swords, much less the others, Asian weapons. Funny I say that because they all come from Asia, even my European rendition of weapons are going to be either coming from the Philippines or China. So, like I said, we can do it some justice. Duly noted justice. Duly noted justice. That, for some odd reason, for the past 14 years or so, we haven't seen. And don't ask me why, because I have no earthly idea. Like I said, with the rage and the high competition of getting one of these things, and then, I finally do get one. I guess, like I said, good things come to those who wait, I guess. But we'll see soon enough. And I'll catch y'all in the next vid. I'm out.